Richard's just telling everybody to do everything. I was thinking of trying shooting up heroin tonight. Should we do that?
I was gonna say, mess this up. I came here to chew bubble gum and voluntarily trigger manageable complexity consistently, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Oh, you laid it out! Nice job, dude. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good, yeah. You're also in 2 meetings at once. If you're gonna be in the Zoom, be in the Zoom. What's up, everybody? We're gonna do it live here.
Good production.
Just waiting on Gabriel to finish showering, I think. No, I'm just kidding.
I tried to switch. You try to switch from Coke and Pepsi.
I think I heard Scott Harris was gonna be co-hosting the show along with Rod.
You know what I mean? Well, you're gonna have to hang up in one place. We're turning the headphones off on this one. Do what? You say? Yeah.
All right, so can you hear me on Zoom?
Yes, I can hear you on Zoom.
Can you see me? How does my camera look? It's the first time I've used this camera.
Good, looks good. Nice looking camera, looks fine.
Oh, that's the focus. Okay, add a focus. Get the focus going. Oh, that's a lot better. That's way better. All right. Oh man, I really got to get a background.
I don't think so. It's just there's a bunch of people here though.
It's cool. Once Agnieszka finishes painting her eyebrows on, I think that's your cue.
We could get her a roller so she doesn't have to use a paintbrush. That could help.
Tattoo. We could tattoo them on there.
Tattoo.
There you go.
I didn't know we were going to have eyebrows for this meeting. Otherwise, I'd have drawn mine on too. But you know how it is with the ladies. Oh, am I? Cool. Well, no, I'm not. I'm on the Zoom call. That's why. The link's in the chat. You're too busy laughing at all my jokes.
So before we start, like, what's the main, I guess, objective of the Do It Live podcast? We're just trying to talk about what's going on in autonomy for the week. Is that really it?
Yeah, I mean, really, like how even like since you're a new host, you could spend a little time even just talking about your journey up to this point, because people might not have heard that, so it doesn't have to be just this week.
Okay.
And then the people that are there, that could turn into a roundtable about their journey through season 3.
You should definitely plug your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Absolutely.
You can tell me how bad it is, where I can get better. Oh, water.
I don't think that would be what happens.
And then there wasn't a ton of things that happened this week, but you were there today for Gabriel's history of American education thing.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Last night's
Yeah, I missed
lecture.
that.
So those could be part of if you get stuck.
You
And
made
then
the
always
presentation,
asking
Rich.
Agnieszka about raising excellence would be another thing. If you feel like you're stuck, just bring up raising excellence. Agnieszka will riff on that.
Excellence at half mast. No, I'm just kidding. I was just being
And then if all else fails, just go to coronavirus.
Yeah, we can just talk about Bill Gates if you need to.
I can show
Don't do
pictures of
it.
chickens too.
Bill,
Don't
Maybe
build a
chicken.
dead horse.
Which
Yeah,
came
it doesn't
first,
do
his
About his
need,
chickens.
his need to sell fake meat to everybody and his inability to do it, or the scheme to shut down all the beef manufacturing and slaughterhouse distribution?
Or just talk about something that makes us
Same
all
time.
more excellent, raises excellence, like limiting beliefs or managing your money or creating a better reality for yourself or stepping up to your own potential or letting go of the negative messages that you picked up as a child.
Rod,
If your
did you-
excellence is at half mast, we have something for you.
Oh, you got a full
We've
crew
been
now.
raising excellence for months now.
What about the Pentagon releasing UFO videos during a pandemic?
20 years
Okay.
old videos.
Laughing
Don't hype that. You know that's not good.
All
That's
right,
not
so
real.
at my mug.
Lately,
so you guys telling me that there's no real
No.
there's
no
no
real
format.
direction.
The
Yeah.
There we go,
idea
cool.
is, what happened in autonomy and what other cool things did you guys talk about this week while you're doing your stuff?
Nobody laughed at the joke of my mug, so I am officially offended.
Why don't you say it again then?
You have to
that
tag
was-
your jokes, otherwise we don't know that they're like different from the other
Canadian
things you say.
takeout.
Canadian take it.
We weren't listening. We're too excited about this spontaneous do it live.
Was it a bear dragging the igloo?
It's orange kombucha.
Did you do something wrong? Is that a punishment or what happened?
Orange kombucha?
Yeah.
No, I actually went out of my way to get some.
Oh, good.
All right.
Do we kick it off now, or are we still waiting on people? How do we?
No,
what
you
we
could
doing?
you could take control and say, all right, everybody, settling in. We're gonna go live here in a second, and then you can kick it off. Do whatever you do, because there are no expectations, Rod. You can't mess this up.
Do it live.
Just relax and have fun.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna start now. Then welcome everybody. My name is Rod, if you didn't know, and I am your guest host for today's Do It, Live, Live, Love, and all that good stuff for the autonomy group. Welcome. This is impromptu, so if I'm a little nervous, you know why. I wasn't prepared. So I'll just start. This week was week 6 in autonomy. And we're starting to get to the things that I was, I would say personally, more signed up for. The actual skills that we need to be autonomous. The previous weeks were more about the psychology of how we got here. When I say we, I mean all of us as a collective and trying to become better people, more autonomous people, let's say. Oh, I like what Tyler's got going on over there with the cows and still daylight. Yeah, so wait, hold on. We have a guest here. Everybody meet Nuri. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi, Marie. Cutie.
She might be interrupting us randomly.
It's all good.
Definitely will
That's
be,
how
not
we do
Mike.
it in autonomy. We do it with whatever situation we have going. So that's
Cool.
Adam's got a
Cool.
2-year-old pulling at him. So
You say what?
Adam's got a 2-year-old with him in the car. So
Oh, so yeah, he knows the struggle. No, so this week I did a couple of interviews. Who did I interview this week? I had an interview with not which Greg. Was it Greg? No, let me pull up my Discord so I won't. And I have to go to my PMs. Oh, George. I had an interview with George Mulford. George was an interesting guy. He said he designed phone cases, and he was trying to, take his phone cases and his e-commerce business to the next level. And I thought that was tight. Mary's waving again, everybody. I want you to see. Let's see, what else? Who else did I interview this week? I had a great conversation with Eric this week about Grand Tartary, this book here, and this author, Autonomy Flamenco. Okay. And he has his series, History, Fiction, or Science. If you're curious about the history of everything and how it was maybe turned upside down and turned inside out. That was a good
that's
conversation.
a very interesting topic. So that's basically what we discuss in autonomy, all these different topics, right? And
Mhm.
and there is like no end in variety of what we can talk about. And
Oh
isn't
yeah,
that
I mean,
the Tolly Flamenco book based on Isaac Newton's early work?
I haven't. So I have this thing where I bought a bunch of books, but I haven't read a quarter of them even. So it's just cool books that I like, and I'm like, what better way to invest my money into, into books instead of other shenanigans. And I'm a person of many interests, so some, kind of reel me in, because sometimes I can go from history to electronics to law to whatever. So
Hey, it's all good. We can talk about everything. We just have to be entertaining.
okay, so well, personally, so I actually really want to talk about Gabriel's presentation today. Gabriel, he called it, the title was the subpar history lesson, which I don't think it was that subpar at all. It was pretty dope and pretty extensive. He started at like 1350 and got up to, from 1350, the history of Europe and America and all this stuff, up to basically the forming of the Illuminati, and how that whole kind of process worked with the Jesuits and different kind of topics. Man, I don't have any. No, I got his presentation. I don't want to go through it personally.
Well, no, I
It's
mean,
all right. The title was a trick. It was not short, and it was very intense, and it was like tricking us in to get in there, and I really enjoyed it myself. And I just wanted to say real quick too, Rod, that this is like the essence of Do It Live. The fact that you jumped on Discord and like 2 minutes later decided to host a podcast, unprepared and ready to go. That's like, kind of what Do It Live's all about, and it's a great time to jump in and do it. And so I just want to praise you and give you applause for jumping in and doing that, and just carrying the torch of Do It Live, because that's what it's all about.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Round of applause.
Appreciate it.
it's
funny.
delve into the topics that we discussed. This is just basically like a short report of what happened throughout the week and what we thought about it. So we don't have to give details for Gabriel's presentation, but I hope there's a replay, because after what Tyler said and you said, now I want to see it or hear it.
Yeah, I think Tyler recorded it, right? So I don't know how the process is of uploading stuff, but
Thank goodness
there is
for
a
Tyler
recording.
recording everything. He's amazing. Let's
Yeah,
give
Tyler's
kudos
the man.
to Tyler recording everything.
Round of applause for Tyler. Round of applause. Round of applause.
From his
Round
car.
of applause.
He records
from his car, no less. Yeah.
He's just a super talented dude.
He's got a real no excuses attitude, that Tyler. He just does it and lives.
So I figured what I would do, and I think would be cool and helpful for everybody, is I guess I'll give an introduction to those who don't know me and kind of how I got here, because I can talk about me, pretty good. I know me, sort of well, and I'm learning me, I guess, right? But anyway, so I'm Rod. I am 32. I was born and raised in Chicago. I went away to school in upstate New York for a couple of years. And school didn't really work out. Well, I ain't gonna say school didn't work out. I didn't work out well in school, in college, I should say. Up until college, I was a straight A student, followed the whole, get a good education, you get a good job, life will take care of you. And I got a taste of a little freedom in college, and I partied quite a bit. So I partied my way out of Hamilton College, which is a really, really nice school. Liberal arts college, really expensive to get into. Luckily, I was smart, so I got a scholarship. So I kind of pissed that away. But
Isn't that what they say about things that you don't pay for? Like, that's not necessarily my experience, but I know that a lot of people, if you don't pay for something, they don't actually tend to value it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I gave
Something
away
given has no value is what you were trying to say.
Perhaps.
I gave away, roughly $200,000. Whatever, big deal. No big deal.
Well, yeah.
But
Maybe
no, but anyway. Oh no, I mean, I am not regretful. I'm very happy for the things that I learned at Hamilton, the experiences I had, and the trouble I got myself into. And when I say trouble, I mean just kind of losing my way a bit. And it took me, a few years to get it together, which I did. But no, my moment, so in my vulnerable state after being suspended from college, I came across this, first I came across Zeitgeist, and Zeitgeist was like, I mean, not but I was, whatever. Saw Zeitgeist. And then my boy, who I do my podcast with, he showed me this other documentary. I forget the name of it, but it was a documentary basically explaining how college education was a scam. In a sense, when the federal government starts guaranteeing loans and everything like that, the quality of it kind of goes down. And there was an entrepreneur in there, I forget who it was, but he said along the lines, basically like, I would never hire someone, based off of a college, based off of a GPA and the ACT score. And so for me, I was blown away by that. I was like, what do you mean? I can't, that's what you
they don't really care about your grades, dude. They don't give a shit. They don't.
and so that at that point, that's when I really kind of started going down the rabbit hole. This was about 2009, 2008. It was about 2009, 2010. And a couple of years later, I found Rich's work, Tragedy and Hope podcast. And I was working at AT&T at the time. And I was a technician for AT&T. So I had a lot of time by myself. And I was able to listen to the podcast, and I listened to it every day, all day. It's kind of the only thing I listen to. I watched
obviously just podcasts are like 14 hours long, so
oh man, yeah. And I was listening to them all the time. And I came across the Ultimate History Lesson with John Telegato and all of this stuff. And at the time I was still kind of finding my way, so I was still partying quite a bit. But I signed up for Tragedy and Hope, the community. Wasn't really active in the community. I just kind of signed up, and I got, okay, all right. I thought you wanted some more snacks. And I got the AUTONOMY email you know, when Rich went out for the first season, I was like, I'm kind of interested because Rich would always mention or talk about how, you know, there was something missing, you know, something needed to be put back. And I felt.
So what did you find? So when you joined the autonomy, what did you find? Like, did you find that it was what you were missing, that missing piece? Or are you finding?
I just found, well, I'm still,
Finding?
I'm still figuring it out. Yeah, I'm still on the journey per se. But being in the community, being around you guys, you know, and that is great. Enough, you know, it's enough. Like without the skills and without everything else that's coming, you know, coming down the pipe, I'm very grateful and happy. And I was just telling my fiance today, like, you know, they say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so I'm very happy to be.
You should make a meme out of that.
I'm very happy to be in this room with you guys, you know, as a community, because a lot of you are a lot smarter and a lot more experienced, and you know, it's got a lot of great ideas. So,
What about this week's lecture? What did you think about this week's lecture?
This week's lecture was good. I really like the, you know, no offense to you, Rich, but I really like the videos, the intermissions, you know, hearing those, you know, different people talk and give their different ideas and, you know, their journey and tips and tricks. Toward the end, I was kind of falling asleep, but I wanted to wanted to pay more attention to the army dude at the end. Was talking about taking responsibility. I thought that was dope. And what else about this week's lecture?
So what other things happened this week, like for you, Rod? Like, so I remember earlier we had, earlier in the week, did we have the Brett Venot episode on Tuesday? Or was that canceled this week?
I don't think I joined that though.
What else did you join this week? What other activities did you participate in?
I just did a couple of interviews. I did note taking with no, I'm gonna get his name. Don't tell me.
Benjamin Dash.
Lawnmower Man. Yes. Benjamin. So me, him, and Oscar. Oscar joined us this week. And I like Oscar. Oscar's a cool dude. And we had a discussion, and Benjamin wanted to ask me more about the seven universal laws, basically, the hermetic laws of the universe. So we kind of talked about that.
Presentation on YouTube kind of thing.
Yeah. Not as in depth or angry as Mark's, but you know that.
Oh, in that presentation, he's not angry. It's later that he becomes angrier. Hey, Lawrence, what about you? I see you have your video on. What about you? What did you enjoy this week from Autonomy?
Well, I had a great conversation with Imran. He reached out to me, wanted to
had Imran too
talk.
this week.
You talked to Imran?
Yep, I talked to him too this week. Yep.
Nice. Did you record it?
I didn't. I've been doing them in the dojo mostly.
Oh, right on.
So hoping to get an audience, and sometimes do, sometimes don't.
Nice. Yeah, I wish I could jump in the dojo more. It's funny. I went from working nights, hoping I'd get more participation in this season, working during the day and having the afternoon free, and it hasn't quite worked out that way, but that's fine.
What season are you?
I jumped in right at the beginning of season 2. And by the way, yeah, I want to recommend the Masters of Soft Disclosure. I've checked out a couple episodes. I checked out the episode on logical fallacies, and I started listening to the latest on Strawman and the UCC. Uniform Commercial Code. Have you talked with Gary Carmiris much yet, or?
I have not, but again, I told you I got books of everything. You know, the debt solvency process featuring Michael Tellinger. I got that, and then I got another one up here, the UCC connection, how to free yourself from legal tyranny.
Oh yeah, I put that on my list. You guys were talking about that on your podcast.
Nice. That's tight. I've never met anybody who I don't know who listens to the podcast. Thank you.
Listened to a couple of your podcasts too, Rod, and I enjoyed them. So
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
and then in honor of you, I started saying "ama" to Eric sometimes, and that was cool. It was like I'm using a different accent. It's so cool. I don't have just the Polish accent. Now I have a different accent.
Yeah, my accent is
It's
a
cool.
hodgepodge.
Well, after I moved out of the prairies in Alberta, I started using "ain't" in a sentence just to honor my time there. So, you know, it's another like a nod thing. But yeah. Hey, Tim, you have your video on. What did you think of the last week?
I'm just laughing at you guys. I'm waiting for Agnieszka to break out with a y'all.
Y'all. Now, next time I visit with Texas, then I'll come back from Texas and I'll be like saying y'all too.
Yeah.
No. How can I say ain't, ama, and y'all in the same sentence? I don't know. It's not going to work.
You can get it done.
And then I would have to put some Polish thing in there just to, you know, mix my own self in there too. Not just
I must say ain't, y'all.
So what's your favorite part about this week, Tim?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just hanging out on a Saturday night with you guys. It's really nice to see everybody in the room here. And somehow we sucked Rod into hosting the podcast. That's awesome. And I remember being on my first Discord and I didn't know what the heck was going on. And Joshua Hale called me out and he's like, "Oh, it's Tim. You're going to do the integration exercise now." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yep, here you go. Here's the script. Get after it." Right away. And I think it was the sales exercise. Yeah, that was my first. That was my first jump in.
Complexity. You overcame fear.
That's right.
You let go of expectations and you just let go.
Yeah, now look at us. We got big microphones and stuff.
Yeah, I go on too.
I can't challenge Lawrence for a microphone, but man.
Cable's too short, can't do it.
Yeah, I know when Rich kind of called me out, I didn't want to back down. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So
I'm doing it.
That's kind of, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. That's kind of how you get me to do stuff. Just call me out and I'll probably end up doing it.
Everybody, write that down.
It was a test. Remember last night they were talking about saying no, and yeah, unfortunately you failed the test. So
it wasn't saying no
you
to
were supposed
growth
to say I had a busy
opportunities.
schedule. Sorry, I wish I could.
Well, the thing is that I was just gonna, me and my fiance were just gonna watch Apocalypto. I've heard a couple people told me to watch it, and I have finally found one because you can't find it online. We tried to find it online. It's like on Amazon for like $45.
You'll find out why in the first couple minutes. It's about fear as a virus.
And that's the thing. So we started. We were just taking a break because I had finally found one with subtitles and everything, and I put it on the TV. And I just jumped in the Discord real quick, and here we are.
Right in. Sorry, fiance. What's your fiance's name?
Leah.
Leah. Sorry, Leah.
Yep, I think
sweet, understanding fiance you have. Very lucky, Rod.
She was laughing at me at y'all. She heard because I had it on speaker. She heard y'all call me out, and she's like started busting up laughing.
It's like
she
that
sounds
State
like the
Farm
right woman
commercial.
then. She got a good sense of humor.
Autonomy is like that State Farm commercial. Like your spouse will come down at 2:00 in the morning, and we're like, "Who in the hell are you talking to?" It's Richard from Autonomy.
What are you talking about? World War II? Why?
Bert Van Aert was here earlier today.
Who?
Bert Van Aert. I mean, Brett Van Aert.
Yes. And
what was he up to?
I offered to give him a hug, but we social distanced.
Oh, he was at home. Nice.
Well, he was on his way from New Hampshire to Pittsburgh to pack up, and then he's moving to New Hampshire.
What? I thought he loved Pittsburgh.
Not during the pandemic.
He's going to pandemic his way out to New Hampshire, then.
He's got a lady in his life. We got to meet her. She's very sweet. They were cuddly together. It was very nice to see him. So happy. Lisa's like, "You're spilling the beans on the podcast? Loose lips sink ships, Rich."
we can always cut it out.
Lisa, what did you think of the girlfriend? What did you think of the girlfriend,
So what did you
Lisa?
think, Lisa? Yeah, now you're going to be on the record. She's going to unmute.
Tell us. I see. She's off mute. No.
Yeah, it's nothing. She doesn't think anything.
Yeah, you don't get Lisa on a podcast. It's almost impossible. I don't think
It's yeah, her microphone just broke and everything imploded, and you know.
We'll have to get the translation. We'll get it secondhand.
She's very good at avoiding being.
She's trying to talk. She's a little frustrated because she's like double muted or something. So she's going to leave and come back. She said, "I loved her immediately." That was her comment, though. That was a spontaneous comment. Now you'll get the after login comment.
Did you get some snow
Can you
up
hear
there?
me?
Can I get? There she is.
We can hear you now.
Ah, you can. Great.
So flurries.
So I said I adored her immediately. I liked her immediately. She was charming and sweet and smart and interesting, and she played really well with Lucas. And yeah, I loved her. And he seemed really happy, and I loved that as well, to see that. So it was nice.
Nice. Is she a school
Meet her.
sex groupie?
No, no, no. But
I mean, I
she
know
does
Brett has
resonate with
groupies.
his work. She does resonate with his work, though, so that's great.
Nice.
You would hope so.
Yeah, she seemed to have a good understanding of contextual history for these types of situations. She was able to hang in the conversations that we were having. So, like, yeah, seemed like a good couple. Our couple. They can go places together.
Well, that's pretty good because I'm sure it can be intimidating jumping in on some of these conversations, especially if
Okay,
you're
but not about our
self-conscious at
friends'
all.
social life and all that. Why don't we talk about what happened on the previous week? You know, this is not Raising Excellence where we digress. This is Do It Live where we just talk random shit.
Do it.
Neshka, how about you? What about you? You're asking everybody, what did you think of this week?
I'm asking everybody because I'm boss. That's why.
No, you're good, Rod. Call her out like that. Call her out. What did you do this week, Agnieszka? She's learning Infusionsoft for us.
Oh yeah, I have mastered Infusionsoft just this week alone. No, I have 10 years of experience. It's all good. We did 3 Raising Excellence, and actually I really I felt really honored because my teacher, my mentor from psychosomatic therapy, a lady who I was apprenticing with for 7 years, when I was practically living with her in her office, we traveled together, and 6 years, maybe 6 or 7 years anyway. We were very close together. I still work for her, but she was on our podcast talking about psychosomatic therapy, and she was dynamite. She called out the boys on their face reading and their muscle structure, and she's like, "Oh, you're thinking this and you're thinking that." It was amazing. And then, yeah, the rest of the week we just talked about psychosomatic therapy. It was lovely.
We tried to turn off our cameras before she read us, but she had us nailed.
Yeah. You can't hide before Carol. You can't do it.
Yeah. I saw that you had that guest, and I wanted to, I don't know why I didn't catch it Monday, but I'm definitely going to hop on YouTube and see. Check. I try to catch the podcast as often as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. And Thursday we had another teacher of psychosomatic therapy talking deeper about, you know, what stuff shows up on your face and how it works. And she was pretty good too. Oh, Tim wasn't there. I was going to ask Tim, but no. You weren't there Thursday, were you? With Christy?
Christy, no, I didn't get to meet her.
No, yeah, she was pretty cool.
Is that Christy, Autonomy Christy?
No, this is Christy, psychosomatic therapy Christy, and she was telling the ladies that she was going to come back, or Sam, that she was going to come back and do a whole week on how we hold our stress in our body and stuff like that. So that would be pretty fun. So yeah, that's what it was. And then we did some interviews. I saw some really cool interviews with Damien. Damien is very interesting. Damien.
I interviewed Damien a few weeks ago.
Eric, how do you say his name in French?
Yeah,
Damien.
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 Damien. Just skip the last couple letters. You're good.
What? How? Damien. Damien. It's simple.
Yay. I don't see an N in there, but okay. Damien. Damien. Anyway, yeah, he's a very interesting dude from France and has impeccable manners.
Rod, Ruby up and take control.
Speaks so cool. I'm wearing the Ruby bed today, so you know. I was
no,
wearing.
I like them, yeah, too. I interviewed him a few weeks ago, and I thought he was super interesting as well. I mean, everybody is like super interesting. Now I haven't spoken to anyone, who wasn't. And that's another thing, that's another thing I like about, the community is that, we're all kind of going through the same things. We're trying to find our way in the same arena, but everybody brings so much, so many different things, but the same thing as well, right? So it's pretty tight. What you guys have built here is awesome, and
Nice.
I'm happy I finally joined.
Nice. We have 2 more.
I'm happy I'm finally in the space to join. Right, when I first got the invite, I wouldn't have taken advantage of it. I was still partying a lot, so I'm really grateful for my fiance and daughter. They made me grow up, essentially, and put my big boy pants on.
Nice. So we got 2 more people on showing their videos now. What do they have to say?
Yeah, Matt, how about you? How was
Julie,
your?
Rod.
Congratulations, Rod, on your first Do It Live. I wanted to be a part of history. I couldn't stay on mute. So, how's it feeling so far?
No, it's hot. The lights are bright. I had to turn the air on, but it's cooling down now. I'm easing into it.
Nice. So, who was in the lecture yesterday for the whole 7.5 hours?
I was.
Nice. Me too. I was. Hey, Rich.
I might have fell asleep a little bit towards the end a couple of times, but
Scott said he woke up for the Q&A.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I want to go back and listen to that Guy Ritchie interview. That was an amazing start to the lecture.
Yeah, got me thinking about getting a suit.
Yeah, like getting into character and taking on his position in life.
That whole interview is actually pretty good. Not to distract you guys from like important things that you could be doing with your YouTube time, but if you watch the whole Guy Ritchie interview, he's a pretty smart dude, and I just kept getting the feeling like, here's Rogan, and he's trying so hard to understand what Guy Ritchie is saying. He's like, you mean there's more than just literal to this stuff? He's like, I thought it was just a good guy, bad guy. He's like, do you think about this stuff all the time? He's like, well, mate, this is what I do for a living. It's like, this is what I do. So you would expect that I would know about it, right? It was just kind of funny. Every time I see it, it's a little chuckle.
Yeah,
there's some good thoughts.
His movies are amazing. I love his movies. Have you guys seen him?
Okay, so I think his best movie is called Revolver. No one's ever seen it. No one's ever seen it. That movie, you could watch that movie 10 times and your mind is still like, what? It's his best movie. And he had other good ones too. Like he makes a lot of good movies. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch.
That's the one. That was amazing. Yeah, I have to go back and watch them all.
The only thing I question him about is Madonna, but guys got to get by, I guess. Having hard times.
I saw something crazy. Yeah.
When you say his movies, are you talking about directing or writing or both?
I thought he's writer-director on most of his, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure. Like he wrote Revolver, I think.
Yeah, there's Lock, Stock. I think there's another one. Escapes me. They're all very similar.
Yeah, especially Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. They're basically the same movie.
Oh, Snatch. Yeah, that's the one with Brad Pitt. Is it?
Yeah, but I like the one with Jason Statham because they're like the same. It's like a similar gangster plot. Yeah, but the best line is where he's like, always be afraid of the pig farmer. Never trust the pig farmer. Never trust a man who owns pigs. Pigs go through bone like butter. They can finish a human body off in 6 minutes. Of course, you got to take the hair and the teeth out because that messes with the pig's digestive tract, right? He just gives us gangster talk, and you're like, holy shit. So yeah, good dialogue.
My grandfather and my dad, they used to say when somebody went to get something, it was taking a while to get back, they'd say, you'd say, well, where'd so-and-so go? Well, he went to shit and the hogs ate him. He went to shit and the hogs ate him. I
Yeah.
never got that till I seen that movie.
Yeah.
Funny because that's the part of the movie I remember the most. It's like the only part I remember the most. I used to quote that all the time. Like, yep, I want to feed people to the piggy.
Like dags. Eh? You like dags?
Matt, what else did you?
Kevin. You know, that was, yeah. I was waiting for John Wayne to continue.
Do it live.
So how was your guys' week in autonomy last
Yeah,
week?
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, Matt, what else did you like about? What else did you get done this week for autonomy?
I was working with Joshua. He wanted me to produce some reports for Autonomy Unlimited, some social media reports. I used to work in a digital agency like a good 7-8 years ago. So I put my hand up for that, but it's been a couple of years since I've done it. So I had to kind of give myself a crash course in all that. But it's looking like he might be moving to a more advanced platform. So he wants me to kind of give him a hand with that. So it's quite involved, bringing in all the data from the various platforms and trying to make sense of it all. So yeah, I was pretty much doing that all week. In terms of autonomy, I did a couple of interviews. One with
Don't
you,
worry,
Rod.
it's a platform I'm an expert in. You're in good hands.
Well, Ad Espresso, is that what you're talking about?
No, Infusionsoft.
Oh no,
Oh,
I
Ad
wasn't talking
Espresso
about
is a
that.
different one. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's not that great, to be honest.
You can shadow
So
Agnieszka.
go ahead. Yeah, that'd be cool. We got to talk. You don't look too keen. You're like, eh.
The Infusionsoft platform is cool. We'll have to record lots of training sessions. I once tried to go over all the features and I recorded 6 hours or 7 hours of training and I still didn't finish.
Okay.
For a group of people on Zoom.
Yeah, marketing automation seems to be the way to go these days. But it's quite expensive to get involved, to get started. So usually, unless you're working for one of the big companies, you don't really get an opportunity to actually learn that stuff. So yeah, just to get to use that software and actually apply it to an agency, it's a good opportunity. Sorry about my voice, guys. I just rolled out of bed.
Sorry, I just got sucked into Tyler's video with the bonfire. That is so cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at that
Are you
too, actually.
seeing this? Like, what is going on? This is live, doing it live.
Yeah,
Wait till he juggles the flaming chainsaws.
And the weirdest part is still bright daylight here. It's morning at Matt's house, and he's having a nighttime bonfire.
Yes. I like talking to people across the world because I'm talking to the future, and I think that's cool.
Matt's in the
future
future.
is bright. Literally.
Hey, you guys. Kevin Emmanuel's on now. I know he was late for the lecture last night, so make sure you talk to him about that.
Hey, Kevin.
Just kidding, Kevin. Just kidding.
My name is Rod, and I'm the guest host for Do It Live tonight. So I haven't met you officially, so nice to meet you digitally.
Yes. Nice to meet you too.
How was your week in autonomy?
My week in autonomy, I just wrapped up my 10th interview, and I came to the lecture 12 minutes late. So that's how it's been, just as a quick summary.
Anything about the lecture that you remember that you really liked?
Oh, let's see. It was the Joe Rogan lecture in the beginning. I can't remember the name of the man, so this is going to be terrible.
Guy Ritchie. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
It was Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, I think the concept of like really owning who you are, not just faking it till you make it, is something that's really important. I think that's something that's really really helped me in giving speeches and interviewing people the weeks past with the other season members. So yeah.
How so? Because I'm kind of working my job right now. I'm a little faking it till you make it a little bit on some things. So how were you able to kind of own up to who you are, if you feel like explaining?
Yeah, well, when I first started, I'm kind of a paradox in the sense that I'm kind of shy, but I really enjoy meeting people. So, when I saw the assignment, you're gonna have to do 10 interviews, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't like I don't like public speaking, but I'm gonna have to do it. But so it was a bit of that. I just did it. And I think a lot of it is just doing it, and then it becomes a process, and it just unfolds, and I end up realizing that I just need to be more comfortable with myself and just really be at peace. I don't have to keep making excuses for myself. So I don't know. It's a lot of patience, and I gotta forgive yourself and just be happy with who you are, but also realize there's room for improvement. I don't know. This kind of seems maybe like a generic or generalized explanation. I don't know. Is that kind of making some?
No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense perfectly. Because I'm kind of the same way. I enjoy people and I like talking to people, but I don't like that initial part. Like once I start talking and we get to conversing, I can just talk and whatever. But it's that initial handshake or hi or whatever. It's that initial thing that I don't know. I just don't. I'm in my mind. I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. And then it's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
And then I'm like, oh man, I like this guy.
It's sort of like pulling teeth at first, but you know what? I think the other thing that makes it really easy is that we're all kind of going through the same thing. But for me, I really enjoy listening to people's life story. I think that everyone's life is a story, and I'm always intrigued and interested to read it, so to speak. And I really tried hard to follow the script in the beginning, and then I just kind of ditched it. I used it as a skeleton, and I just kind of went off in a regular conversation because I generally want to get to know other people, and eventually that kind of came out naturally. So I don't know, it could kind of seem scripted at first.
Yeah. For me, it depended on the person, I think, and the conversation. Like I use it, like you said, I use it as a skeleton roughly, but I personally like just going back and forth. Like I ask you, then you ask me the same thing. I didn't really like me, I'll go once and then I let you go, because a lot of times, like I just want to chime in and be like, oh yeah, me too, or I have that problem, or whatever the case may be, or I had that problem. So it was a lot easier for me to just go again, just like you said, make it a conversation. And I use it as a skeleton to kind of keep a order, or kind of a structure of what we wanted to get to. And then when we got to the end, I like to find out go outside of the course and say, yeah, what are your hobbies? What do you like doing besides investing in yourself?
And it's really amazing to see where the conversations go. And I think as an individual, either myself, you, or anyone else here, you end up, realizing how much you really know. And the conversations I've had, I initially thought it's only going to be like 10 minutes, or I have this set time in my head, and then it ends up becoming this hour and a half. The longest one was like 3 hours. So it's incredible, I think.
Yeah, no, I had one interview. And I just told my fiance, it'll be real quick. She's like, no, it's not. And she was right.
Yeah,
It wasn't
true.
quick.
Didn't you guys just talk about chronology the other day for 4 hours straight? Eric
Well,
and Rod and who else? Oh, Ludger was talking to him about chronology. I think he was like, I spent 2 hours talking to Rod. I spent 2 hours talking to Ludger.
yeah, we talked for a bit. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I saw he posted a book, and I was like, oh, I got that book. I mean, the same with Imran. That's why this past Sunday he brought up How to Read a Book and the Trivium, two of the hardest books I haven't finished reading because they're hard to read to me. And I was like, oh, I got those books and I haven't finished them. And so I wanted to interview him for the same reason.
Hey, Rod, I got How to Read a Book on audiobook if you want it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And my suggestion is, my personal view on that is, like, the first part of it is useful and the last part is too pedantic for regular people to use. So if you just focus on the beginning, like the first couple methods, yeah, not the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Pedantic, what does that mean?
I agree with that. Just
Same thing with
overly
kickoff.
detailed.
Pedantic means going into greater detail than you're ever going to need to use. So like in the Introduction to Logic lectures, there's some good content as well, just like Mortimer Adler's How to Read a Book. But it gets to a point where it's like, it's too complicated to ever use an everyday type of thing, and you would only use it in an academic, professorial type of setting. So I try to stick to like, what do you need to keep it real and get your things done and like read the books and get the things you need, and not worry about like super complicated other ways to do it, right?
Gotcha.
And Kevin, congratulations on those 10 interviews. How do you feel now as opposed to when you first did your interview?
So I heard the first part. Thank you. Yes, thank you for congratulating me. But since everyone here in my apartment has been on lockdown and using up the internet, my internet signal will cut out. So I do, in a way, apologize for that. Could you repeat that last part?
How do you feel different now after having that experience under your belt as opposed to when you heard about the assignment?
Oh my gosh. Energized. I feel great. It's weird. I feel very, oh my gosh. It's a lot, I'm gonna say a lot of cheesy things, but I feel pretty confident, honestly. There's one of those, oh gosh, and I'm losing the word, but those just hidden parts of me that I didn't realize that I do so well, and it's kind of addicting to experience success, I guess, and just to have accomplished that. So I hope that answers your question. I was able to look back on it with ease. Initially, it was like looking up a mountain, in a way.
But now you're looking down from the top of the mountain because you got some confidence, and you're just like, this is a building block. We're gonna put other blocks on top of this. But what I noticed tonight is when you were talking, you were smiling. You're smiling, and when we talked the first time, you were kind of like a little flatline-ish. Your face didn't have as much expression. So like your expressions are starting to come out, and like the you is starting to like come out and be in front. And that's what you're going to discover as you keep building with these exercises. So the fact that you did 10, that's fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well, you know,
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Richard.
I know that was really, I knew that was really tough for you.
Yeah, you know, this is the thing. I think that eventually, the one thing I realized that you can't run away from yourself, and ultimately, everyone has to come to task with themselves. I mean, you can run away from everyone else. You can run away from situation, and for better or worse, now luckily I came in to a great group, and so this group has really, or this course as well, has brought me to task and forced me in a way, or I convince myself, or I yeah, I guess you could say the word, convince myself, you know, to go forward with it. I mean, I chose to participate. Ultimately, I realized it was a choice that was beneficial. So, but there was a bit of the push.
And you're leaning into yourself now, just like Rod did, because I didn't really expect Rod to say yes to hosting tonight. When he jumped on and I was like, hey, Rod's here, he can host, he has a podcast, I expected an excuse. But it was easier for Rod to say yes than it was for him to make an excuse. And I was like, holy shit, Rod's going to host. Let's see how this goes. Go ahead, Rod. It's back to your show now, man. You're doing a great job, too.
Yeah, well, like I said, for me, it was like you said, it was easier to be like, yeah, instead of be like, no, we're finna watch a movie, you know, which, you know, isn't a bad thing, Saturday night or whatever. But it was like you said, it was a lot easier just to be like, no, okay, let's do it. Let's do it live and get it over with, you know. Now I'm here. Now I'll feel like I'll be prepared all the time, in a sense, where I always kind of be like, they might call me out and be ready.
Yeah, and you found out you've got listeners to your podcast that you didn't know about. What's the name of your podcast? Because now you're going to have more listeners. I told you to plug it. Right?
Yeah, the name
Plug
of the
it.
podcast is The Masters of Self-Disclosure. It's a podcast I made with me and my boy from grammar school. We've been friends for a very long time. And it was just it kind of came about because I started my own podcast. I recorded one episode and he heard it and he was like, oh, you got a podcast? I want you as a guest on mine. And so I did his for the next like 2 weeks and I stopped doing mine. And I was like, yo, we should just do one together because I need some accountability because I still haven't done my first episode. You know, still haven't done my second episode. And so we just kind of, you know, started there. And it's good. I started because I felt like, you know, after listening to Rich for so long and just other, you know, just being in this kind of world with the alternative history and news and whatever you want to call it, I felt like I needed to, even if I was wrong or I didn't get it, I just felt like I was hoarding all this information, you know? So I felt like I needed to get it out and just start. And so this we did, and it's coming along good. We should have started a couple weeks ago, but as I want, so in my mind, I want like a background. We have a logo, pretty cool logo. So I want to get like a background and put it up so you don't see everything behind me, you just see the logo. So I've kind of been holding off, but logos, banners and stuff are expensive. They're not as cheap as I thought they would be, so I might have to just go ahead and keep it moving. And
what if you just use a green screen? Green screen, any logo. Yeah, so
no problem. Go virtual. Rod, thanks so much for stepping in and hosting for me.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for living your life and forcing me into it.
Allow me to assist you with getting that logo and banner and stuff set up.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Do I need to send you anything? What do I need to do?
Yeah, send me what graphics you got. Do you have a logo or you need one made?
No, we have one. We have one.
Cool. Yeah, send that over and I'll make you a cool intro video for your podcast.
Hell yeah.
It makes awesome intros.
That's dope. That's dope. Thank you.
Makes
I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Rod. Thanks.
Take it away. What happens when you step up, dude?
I see. Man, that's
You're no longer alone. You have a family now.
I see. Yeah, and it's funny y'all mentioned that because about a month or two ago, I ran into some kind of issue, and I was like, man, there's nobody I could reach out to help me out, and I was kind of like bummed about it. You know, it was like, you know, I'm kind of there for people in my life, and you know, and this kind of thing, but there's nobody really there for me when I need it, which I don't need it much. I'm not saying like I don't need people, but I kind of just I was raised the only child. I'm an only child, so I'm just used to kind of, you know, going it alone and Lone Ranger and just figuring it out. So thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, back to my podcast, Master Self Disclosure. We have a website too, if you want to check it out. It's under construction. I need to start writing a little bit more as well to have some blog stuff up and kind of fill out the site. But no, I like to do a live concept because that's kind of been my life a little bit. It's just I just got to do it. And once I start doing it, then then it becomes easier. You get over that initial hump. And like we talk about in the course, building up those small wins. So autonomy has helped me build up small wins, do those interviews, get them done. So now my next kind of focus is going to be my alien debate with Eric. My premise is that aliens are at the top of the pyramid. That's the all-seeing eye, and I'm gonna prove it. Well, not prove it, but I'm gonna take on that challenge to see if I can prove it to myself and everybody else. And if not, oh well, at least I did it.
Hey, it's cool that you're talking about writing, because I was talking to the copywriting group, and we were going to do a writing clinic and talk about the difference between writing for an email, writing for a landing page, writing for a lead magnet, and how they're different and what makes them different, and how, all that stuff. So that's in the works. Nobody's gotten back to me with times, but I'm willing to teach that workshop whenever you guys get a time together, where everybody works for everybody.
Yeah,
I was thinking like on a Saturday morning or something like that. Afternoon for you, maybe.
I'll be there. I try to, again, anytime there's somebody's presenting something, I try to be there. Because again, my interests and stuff and things are so wide. I'm kind of interested in everything, but that's kind of a problem too, right? I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but I kind of know that I can do anything if I sat down and did it, which leads me to doing sometimes nothing, because it's that same kind of indecision. So that's something that needs to be tightened up a bit, but we'll get there.
That's
Anybody
when you
else
can fall
have that?
back to your environment at that point, because that's like a willpower thing. It's like, I got a bunch of stuff to do. What should let me look at my list of priorities. What was I trying to accomplish this week? Right, there we go. So if you do like a meeting with yourself where you say, here's what I'm trying to accomplish this week, and then day by day, here's the steps that I'm going to make that accomplishment, right? So like a weekly goal, then that externalization is what you can fall back on. That's like the magnet that doesn't need to be recharged, as opposed to like your brain deciding. And it's like, sometimes that needs to be recharged. So you fall back on your plan that you wrote out.
And I think that's something, I don't know if anybody else really has a problem, but I think that's, again, something that I need to implement more. So of writing stuff down and getting stuff somewhere where I can look at it and see it. And like you said, that'll help me get to, focus a little bit more. But I feel like if I sit down and write it down, then I have to hold myself to it. And so I don't write it down, and I can be like, oh, I forgot, whatever. But no, I think I'll probably
So
try
you know that about yourself. So the answer is externalize the accountability, right? And you don't want to do it to your fiance because you're in a relationship and you want to keep that relationship. So find other classmates and say, hey, let's meet once a week and we'll have an hour meeting and we'll each make a goal and then we'll work and then we'll talk about it next week. What were our challenges? Do we make it? You'll get some ideas. It's like a mastermind meeting plus accountability. And I'll sit in on those and give you guys structure and like creative ideas, because that's easy.
Yeah. No,
I just have to be in proximity. Like the creative ideas I come up with are a function of being in proximity of like your Wi-Fi network of your brain. So when I hear people and I'm listening, I'm putting together pieces in my head and I just say the things that I'm thinking and people are like, wow, that's cool. And I'm like, I'm just thinking in pictures and then talking about them. And you guys, can learn to do the same thing. Like we all have this ability. I don't have any special talents. I just had access to some of these things earlier in life. And that's why I want to share them, because I think it's cool when people pick them up and use them.
I agree. And I thank you for that. And I thank whoever put you on game early. I appreciate them too.
That guy's name, I don't think I've ever mentioned in the course, but his name's Neil Bradley. And he's a Canadian who I think he retired in Florida, and he's pretty old, so I don't know that he's alive anymore. But he was the guy that mentored me in the '90s, and I was part of like a franchise organization that painted houses during the summer. But what they were teaching us was entrepreneurism. This is a spoiler for the final lecture, by the way, Rod. So I'm giving you advanced information. Everyone else, close your ears if you haven't heard the lecture. And so being in a situation where I was trying to pay for college and then having an opportunity where I can make 10 grand over the summer as an entrepreneur, I was interested. And then the training that they had was like the most valuable thing. So it's about, you know, knowing how to communicate with people, what you guys are learning right now, whether it's knocking on doors and having a conversation or talking to each other in Discord, it's the same methodology. And I'm glad you guys start with the script and then make it your own, because that's ultimately what you have to do in life. You can't go around repeating a script to people. That's not cool. So you have to understand the concepts and be able to articulate them to others. That's the real test of the course.
Yeah, I remember some of the pre-autonomy things. There was an interview with a young lady who was in the same
Oh, you
painting
watched that,
houses
did you?
thing.
That's
Yeah,
Joshua's
I watched
friend. Her name's Price Sai with a T,
Yes.
S-A-I. And yeah, she went through the same program I did, only probably about 10 years later. But I very much resonated with that methodology. And it's absent in corporate culture. I really expected to go through that program and then have to step up my game to work in the corporate world. And I had to like kneel down. It was awful. It was awful for my expectations, because I was like, I thought you guys were supposed to be more professional than the thing I was doing for myself in college, but they're not. They're not. So you can do better for yourself. I just saw a truck go by that had snow all over it. Is this May? What's going on?
Harp.
Sorry.
Excuse me, that was my
tangent.
Yeah, I do that.
Do it. Live.
I do that sometimes. I yell obscenities.
But you're in Pennsylvania, right, Richard? I think you guys are supposed to get hit with a bunch of snow pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut, but we get Pennsylvania weather just 4 hours later.
Gotcha. Okay. I knew you were from Pennsylvania. I thought you still lived there. I apologize.
That was unfortunate to hear because I live in Pennsylvania. So
Yeah, Tony's in Pennsylvania holding it down.
No, it's pretty much spring here in Omaha, Nebraska. Got the leaves coming out and everything. Anyways.
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna shoot you my cell phone number on Discord, all right? Because I'm pulling into some rest stop outside Omaha tonight. I
Really?
was talking to Adam Turner about hanging out with him, meeting up tomorrow. But it would be cool if you had an opportunity just to say hi.
I love it.
Yes.
That would trigger complexity for Kevin, but I think he's up for it, man, because you're on a road trip across America, Adam.
Ready.
Yeah. And the main
Send us
reason
a
I didn't
picture.
fly was so I could meet up with well, yeah, absolutely, send a picture. I met Lisa Manfredi too on Thursday. I met
Oh,
her in
that's
Pennsylvania.
excellent.
And that was really cool. I had a really good time.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She is awesome.
Let's see. So, you're gonna send me the message over Discord. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll figure. I'm still on the road. I'm probably last time I saw was like 40 miles to Council Bluff.
Oh, yep.
So I mean, and we're just gonna crash in a rest area or a parking lot or something tonight, and then I'll start figuring stuff out in the morning.
Now, if I can just be an observer of the obvious, if the spirit within Kevin hadn't had him talking about Omaha, I don't think Adam would have known in time to meet up with Kevin, right?
Nope, not at all.
That's pretty cool. I saw that. Did you guys see that? Did you hear it?
Yep.
That's pretty interesting. Good job, Kev.
Yeah. Do what I can. No. So I work until 3:30, and I'm pretty much available for part of the day. So guess we'll have
All
to
right.
coordinate somehow there.
Let's figure out details by phone outside of the Zoom call with 20 other people. All right.
Okay.
I will definitely text you soon.
Awesome.
Or
Thank you.
not, but message you.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the thing, if I may interrupt. So I did, this is one of the things that I have to like undo. So I did see you post the announcement on Discord earlier, and I thought, I don't know why I think this. I think it has to do with the conditioning, which is so stupid, but I thought, oh, he's gonna pass through he's gonna pass through Omaha. And I'm thinking, well, okay, what do I have to offer? What does the city have to offer? I'm like, okay, well, I'm a cool guy, but what can we talk about? So I like to think I'm okay, but I don't know. You'll have to find out.
You know, Kevin, it's funny because it feels the exact same way putting the offer out there of, hey, I'm driving around, like, who wants to meet up? And like, well, why? Why does anyone want to meet me? But we're all in this community together, so, you know.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll see.
There's been a lot of students who have met in real life, and I don't think there's been any ill interactions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be.
Were you guys expecting ill interactions?
No, but people always fear that, like, oh, I got to meet somebody from the internet, you know, in real life. There's always that thing there, right? So I'm just saying probably 50 to 60 students have met in real life, because there's a bunch of students who have met outside the 36 who were here last year. Yeah, I do a good job qualifying people, so you guys are good. Adam's got nothing to worry about, and Kevin's got nothing to worry about, because I know both you guys, and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Omaha's it's a mid-sized city. You got the best of both worlds of a large city and a small town. So.
Just don't go to LA.
What's that?
I said just don't go to LA.
Oh, I've heard stories. 4 or 5 hour traffic. Actually, I do have a story about that, but yeah. What, are you from LA, or have you been to LA?
No, never been. We'll
Eric's
never go.
just a snarky Canadian from Montreal.
Yeah.
Oh. I was just in Montreal a month ago.
Well, I'm there now.
Well, that sounds. I heard
You
about.
come on by again.
What's that?
You should come on down again. There's snow.
Eric's saying that because he's stuck there for an extra week because he didn't know he was quarantined. So he tried to leave earlier today, right, Eric?
That's right. Live and learn.
Yep. We'll have to talk about that. I really enjoyed Montreal.
And you didn't even go, like, was this the first time you came to Montreal?
The first time I took, sorry to go off top. You know what? I took French in middle school and throughout high school. And I had a French teacher who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. And we had a good relationship. And she told me, you know, you should go visit. And I finally did with a friend. And actually, I'm part French and I always wanted to visit. I mean, I've been to Paris, but I've never been to Montreal. And we were just like, the hell with it. We'll just go visit. And we were there for a week. And it was fantastic.
Okay, because like the best time to come to Montreal is during the summer.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, during the festivals. So if you enjoyed it without the festivals, you would love it with the festivals.
That's what I heard.
Just
You
don't
have
talk
to
to the
make
French
sure you're there during the week that it's warm. That's
Yeah.
summer.
No, it's actually in July. So there's 2 seasons. There's winter, there's July.
We're gonna go next year. My friend and I, probably July 2021. So
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
The best season in Montreal.
Yep. But Adam, if you're still there, I'm sure we'll try to do something even with the lockdown, because things are sort of returning back to normal, but it's kind of taking a while.
Yeah. I've noticed, yeah, we'll figure something out. I mean, in Pennsylvania, like, we broke into a playground and let my daughter run around, and then once we saw some sketchy looking town vehicle drive by a few times, we kind of just ordered some carry-out pizza and sat at like a riverside picnic table and hung out for a while. So, you know, it's expectations are low, but it's really cool to sit and talk and meet each other. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. So am I. Well, this is a thing I tendency I had to do. I talk a lot once I get going. So if it's all right with everyone, I will hand the mic back to Rod because this is your original Do It Live, right? So I'm not the star of the show. You are, Rod.
No, this is everybody's show. I'm just here to help facilitate. But no,
He's
I
the
did
master
have
of ceremonies.
exactly. I did have a question though, for the room. Anybody want to ask? So is who is still employed and is looking to stay employed? I mean, and not become, self-employed. Just curious. Who's like a W-2 employee and wants to keep that up, and not because you have to, right? Until you figure your next thing out. But like, who likes their job and wants to keep doing it?
I can say I am still employed, and I waver back and forth. I've been grateful to be employed. I've been, but then hoping it, looking for an excuse to quit or get fired. Pour some more time into things in the autonomy realm. So that's, I'm doing my best to weigh the cost benefit. There is something positive right now about the position my wife and I are in, and just having the steady paycheck, but pretty sure the opportunity cost is higher than what I'm making, 40 hours a week over at Home Depot.
That's good. Did you pick that up last night, the opportunity cost? Because that's a apropos phrase to drop in the context of this conversation.
Well, it was definitely reinforced in my mind. It's been in my mind, but it definitely was thinking about it again today.
So it's a good thing to balance, because I'm sure you're not the only person in that situation. So it's good you have a job, you got money coming in, and you have to be appreciative and grateful, and that's good, right? But that doesn't mean you can't move up, right? The only people who move up aren't just the people who don't feel grateful for their job. They're the people who feel grateful for their job, but they also see, you know what, as I develop skills, I can do something else. And somebody else who needs a job can take my job at the place that I'm working, right? So I always recommend, it's like, if you got a job, keep the benefits while you develop your skills. And then when you test your skills and you can put your weight on your skills, then you don't need the paycheck, essentially, because you can write your own paycheck as you put work into your method.
No, absolutely. And I just need to get control of my time a little better. It's frustrating because I feel that I've cut out all the excess fat, the distractions. I feel like a lot of it, it's like,
hey Lawrence, your microphone sounds really good. Sorry to jump in, but I know you've been working on that issue and it sounds great, and there's no popping or any problems now, so awesome.
Hey, and since Tyler's interrupting you, to give you a compliment, I also wanted to say, Lisa and I were talking earlier, and we're like, look at Lawrence go. You have really become yourself and become much more free. Like, you have parrhesia now. You can speak freely. Whereas before you were like over analyzing and getting in your own way. And I know, because I do that. I still do that. Like, so when I recognize things, it's not like I'm saying you have this thing and I don't have it. It's like, no, I recognize, because I do that to myself sometimes, but you have been much more relaxed and much more like present and like in the game. And Lisa she spotted something. She's like, Lawrence was helping out earlier today, and I was so proud of him that, like, because Like you're stepping out of your introspection, aka introversion. I say that for Ferlin because it ruffles his feathers if I say introversion. So
Guess I'll
how
have
do
to
you?
explain that story.
Yeah, we'll talk that later. I'm giving him a compliment.
Yeah,
Hold on.
go ahead.
So Lawrence, compared to when you came in and the trepidation and the anxiety you might have felt back then, like what's the process now? Like how do you feel now when you have to like get on the mic, man? And it does sound great.
It on this side, it hasn't changed. I just have to do it. To be honest, in fact, in some ways, sometimes it feels harder. But
That's interesting, right? Because like you have this internal thing, but to us, like, oh, like Lawrence is stepping up and he's being very fluid, right? Okay, so that is, I'll also share that with you. That might never go away, dude. You just have to learn not to care about it. Like I don't like being on the spot. I don't like being on camera. I don't like being recorded. I don't like any of that stuff. But it is necessary for me to share the wisdom that I've found through like some very arduous means to make it easier for other people. So the pearl in me is like, well, we got to do it to help them. So don't care about ourselves, right? So it's about balancing these different personality aspects that we have, right? Not just saying I'm a pearl with some emerald tendencies who needs to learn how to deal with rubies, right? And suppress my inner sapphire. Keep it real. So it's like learning about yourself and like, so where are you in that process? How do you feel now? Because it's been like 6 months.
well, I appreciate you reinforcing my confidence. And I am I'm really trying to allow myself to recognize progress, as scattered as I feel, as all over the place as I feel sometimes. I do recognize I'm balancing a good amount of stuff fairly well, and I think doing the best I can to jump in and help out where I can. And as far as the microphone, I haven't done anything. I kind of just hoped that it was a Zoom issue. So I'm glad it sounds good. I was listening back to my interview with Imran the other day, and it sounded pretty good. As far as the job, the interesting thing there is, at the beginning of the year, I transitioned to a daytime position, a sales position, technically working in the building and lumber department, where I'd been doing the freight overnights. And that was a good transition. That was a good change of pace, triggering complexity with, you're dealing with customers. I've got stuff to take care of in the morning as the opener. And then I've got a phone on me that's ringing all the time. I learned how to help the pro loaders and working with all these contractors. I started to get to know more people in the store. And then right as things started changing here, with everything going on, which, by the way, that phrase triggers me, or it just, I want to scoff whenever I hear with everything going on. Anyway.
In these trying times.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the delivery coordinator, well, just an order puller for special services, left and kind of left a big hole. And just by chance talking to her, like, oh, you're leaving. And then she speaks to the manager over there, like, hey, he's interested in my job. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought about it and like, why not? So I applied for this position and I just started training, and it's, different set of skills, different part of the business, kind of relieving some of the stress that I was feeling where I was working. So in the midst of a crazy, sometimes miserable situation there, there's just a change of pace, and I'm talking to a lot of these young guys, and it's this weird thing, these guys that are 10 years younger than me, that I just, whatever I say, their minds are blown. So I have a chance to just ramble and talk about some of the stuff that we talk about here, very, in my mind, bluntly and inarticulately compared to, some of the bright minds in this community, but it gives me a chance to think out loud and hopefully catch their change some minds or change some way of thinking, and even maybe potentially scout out some people that could be in a good position to jump in on autonomy. But some of that serves to make me feel more comfortable. Like, it goes back and forth. I notice this push and pull of and I drive Candace nuts sometimes, where I'm complaining about job and getting up at 3 a.m. and then I have like a decent day and whistling on my way home from work, kind of. Gosh, there was something else I wanted to say, but I appreciate the just recognition of some progress. And I didn't want to show up tonight. I've been showing up to this podcast like every other week, and I was getting tired. And then I saw, I kind of shrunk in the opportunity to try and host this. I'm glad Rod jumped in like he did. That was pretty cool. I will, at some point I'll show some video of baby chickens if anybody's interested in that, just for like 90 seconds of joy. But we can talk about other more important stuff first.
Yeah, we want to see Agni the Pearl.
Okay, well, since you brought it up, we did name one of our 10 baby chicks Agni the Pearl in honor of Agnieszka and you, Richard. Can you see that?
That is the cutest chicken I've ever seen. The cutest one. And it's a hen.
Only for eggs, everybody. It's only for eggs.
It is only for eggs, so long as the shit doesn't hit the fan, But,
well, you get more eggs than meat out of a chicken, so
So that's Agni the Pearl as well.
That's awesome.
So cool.
That's great.
And,
it's my desktop wallpaper, by the way, on my computer.
So my Candace and I put together a run. We're still waiting on the coop in the mail, which we're gonna have to put together. But we oh wait, I didn't share that. That's also Agni the Pearl.
And for anyone playing at home, it's an inside joke because Agnieszka is a ruby who doesn't like being called a pearl, but really she's a pearl.
So this was getting the chickies into their new.
Here we go. Let's move into your new run. Who are the early adopters?
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Lisa's like, oh my God, I love
it. It doesn't look like social distancing.
Come on. Come on.
Go this way.
Come on.
Report it to the Gestapo.
Yeah.
Go on.
Life is so cool.
Come on.
Come on.
Life finds a way.
Stop.
Tell them, do it. Live.
Do it, babe.
But we like it out here.
They're almost all over here. Come on, Denise. Come on.
Oh. Come on.
Come on.
Here's the good chicken cam shot.
Right in there. Right in there. There's food. There's water. Go ahead.
Rod's like, I don't know where to go with this.
Nice.
You got everyone?
I've lost control for the chicken.
All right.
Actually, I'm looking for my logo so I can send it over to Joshua while I still remember.
A bigger playpen.
See, Rod knows that being patient is doing something productive while he waits. He's like, I'm taking full advantage of this. Keep showing the chickens. I'm finding the logo.
Oh, well, I definitely recommend getting chickens. It's really fun. It's way better than having just a cat.
Oh,
Well,
you're
with
muted,
that,
Rod.
I'm going to wrap this show up. Rod, thank you so much for hosting tonight. Been a fantastic job, and you kept the show going. I look forward to giving a little back and showing you a new little intro video for your podcast. Everybody, thanks all for being such a badass community. I'm really honored and appreciative that I'm a part of this. And make sure to subscribe, whatever you're watching this on. And if you're interested in autonomy, go to getautonomy.info/ignite and make sure to check us out, because if you're looking for your tribe, this could be it. Thanks everybody for showing up. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Whoop, whoop.
See you guys.
Chicks, man.
Thanks for sticking out with me, everybody.
Yeah, take care. Thanks, everyone.
Meet you guys on
Good
Discord.
job. Good
Yeah,
job,
see you in
Rod.
the Discord. See you in the dojo.
Yeah. Nice meeting you, Rod.
Maybe we get an interview in, Kevin.
Thank you very much.